You've heard the rumor, the underground monk schedule, 4 hours of sleep, eyes clear, body light, mind quiet, like you've hacked biology itself. And you want it because you're tired of being tired. You want the day to feel wide again, not squeezed between alarms, caffeine, and dread. But here's the twist. The secret isn't sleep less. The secret is learning the difference between sleep and recovery. Most people have never trained recovery. They only collapse. I'm going to say something that may offend the part of you that worships productivity. If you're trying to force your life into 4 hours of sleep, you're probably not disciplined. You're desperate. You're not a monk. You're a modern man with an overstimulated nervous system, bargaining for more time. And the body never accepts bargains. It accepts training. In Japan, there's a word, shugyō, which means disciplined practice, the kind that reshapes a person through repetition. Monks didn't discover 4-hour sleep the way an influencer discovers a new supplement. If a monk sleeps less, it's usually because his entire day is structured around reducing agitation, low novelty, low emotional chaos, more rhythm than entertainment, and that rhythm changes how tiredness feels. Not because biology is fooled, but because it is finally respected. So let's get very clear. The title says, sleep 4 hours and feel amazing. I'm going to give you the technique that feels like that. But I'm also going to protect you from the trap. Because true 4-hour sleep, long-term, for most people, is not a flex. It's a slow leak of your cognition, mood, hormones, appetite, and impulse control. The monk technique is not cut sleep. The monk technique is replace some of your panic rest with trained rest. There's a difference, and it changes everything. Takeshi would say it like this: you don't need less sleep. You need fewer reasons to recover. Satoshi would say it more gently. Your exhaustion is not only a sleep problem. It's an input problem. Your mind is working overtime, even when you lie down. Now listen closely, because this is where modern men lose the plot. You can be in bed for 8 hours and still wake up unrecovered, because your nervous system didn't downshift. Your body was horizontal, but your mind was still on duty. Replaying conversations, forecasting threats, scrolling, comparing, negotiating. Your eyes closed, but your system stayed vigilant. And vigilance is expensive. This is why the monk technique became seductive. It whispers, what if you could get more recovery in less time? And that's real. Not as a miracle, as a skill. The modern name for it is NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. It's often taught through Yoga Nidra. And while you'll see wild claims online, there is legitimate early scientific evidence that Yoga Nidra can be feasible and well tolerated for people reporting insomnia, with signals that it can help sleep-related outcomes in controlled settings. Not magic, not a replacement for sleep, but a trainable state that can lower arousal. Here's the simplest model. You have 2 forms of fatigue. One is sleep pressure. That's biological. You're awake long enough, the body demands sleep. The other is nervous system fatigue. That's psychological and physiological. It comes from constant micro-stress, constant switching, constant stimulation. Your body stays braced, your jaw tight, your breath shallow, your attention fragmented. Most men try to solve nervous system fatigue with more sleep. But if your arousal system is still screaming, more time in bed becomes more time struggling. And struggling teaches the brain that bed is a battleground. Monks learned the opposite. They didn't only chase sleep. They cultivated downshift. They trained the off switch. And once you can downshift on command, you don't need as much collapse time to feel human again. Now we need to talk about polyphasic sleep, because that's where the internet starts lying with confidence. Polyphasic sleep means splitting sleep into multiple bouts across a day. Some people do it temporarily. Some people attempt extreme schedules, and the reason it sounds so powerful is because naps can feel like resurrection when you're sleep-deprived. But the scientific caution is consistent. Polyphasic schedules can create health and safety concerns, and sleeping outside normal circadian windows can be problematic. So here is the underground monk technique reframed in a way that works in the real world. You keep your core sleep mostly intact, and you add 1 or 2 deliberately trained recovery sessions that feel like sleep's little brother. You use them to reduce nervous system debt, not to brag about how little you slept. And if you do it well, something surprising happens. You may naturally need a little less sleep. Or you may keep the same sleep duration but feel dramatically better. Either way, you win. Let's make this practical. The monk technique has 3 parts. Part 1 is cutting the poison that makes sleep shallow. Not all stimulation is equal. The worst kind is the kind that keeps the nervous system scanning, doom scrolling, argument videos, sexual novelty, violent clips, rapid cuts, bright screens late at night. These are not relaxing. They are sedation. They numb you, but they keep your vigilance circuits alive. Tixi would tell you to stop pretending you're relaxing when you're actually training your brain to be restless. So tonight, your first rule is simple. 1 hour before bed, no input that makes your heart rate subtly rise. If you don't know what that is, watch your breathing. If you can't breathe through your nose smoothly while you consume it, it's not recovery. Part 2 is the recovery skill itself. Yoga Nidra style NSDR. I'm going to guide you through the structure, not with mystical language, but with a training mindset. You lie down, you choose stillness. You choose a decision. I will not chase sleep. I will chase downshift. Then you do 3 stages. Stage 1, exhale priority. Most stressed men inhale like they're always about to speak, always about to defend, always about to act. You're training the opposite. Longer exhale, not dramatic, just longer. It's a signal of safety. Stage 2, systematic attention. You move attention through the body like a slow lantern. Forehead, jaw, throat, chest, belly, hips, legs, feet. You're not trying to relax them by force. You're noticing. You're proving to your nervous system that it can be aware without being alarmed. This is the hidden mechanism, awareness without urgency. Stage 3, opposites and neutrality, warm and cool, heavy and light, tight and soft, then neutral. Neutral is where anxious minds panic, because neutral feels like nothing is happening, and anxious minds crave something happening. So you train your mind to stay with neutral sensation without inventing a story. This is why it works. Anxiety is often an intolerance of the present moment, when the present moment is unexciting. So the mind manufactures a problem to solve. Yoga Nidra interrupts that manufacturing line. And again, we have early clinical trial evidence in insomnia populations that Yoga Nidra can be feasible and well tolerated, with promising signals on sleep outcomes. Don't overclaim it, use it. Part 3 is timing. This is where men get stupid, because they turn a recovery tool into another performance test. Here's the monk timing rule. Do NSDR when you are most likely to self-destruct. That's usually one of 2 windows. Window A, late afternoon to early evening when your focus collapses and you reach for caffeine or junk stimulation. Window B, pre-sleep, when you're tired but wired. If you do it in window A, you protect your night. You reduce the pressure to scroll. You reduce the need for a late caffeine rescue. You arrive to bedtime with less nervous system debt. If you do it in window B, you train the downshift directly. Now let's address the seductive claim. Sleep 4 hours and feel amazing. Can you sometimes sleep 4 hours and feel amazing the next day? Yes. Especially if you are running on adrenaline, novelty, travel, new love, a mission, or sheer obsession. The human body is capable of heroic compensation, but the cost shows up later. In patience, in appetite, in your ability to hold attention, in the intensity of your emotions, in the kind of mistakes you make when nobody is watching. So I want you to treat 4 hours like a temporary state you might occasionally land in, not a lifestyle identity you tattoo on your ego. Because the real shocking difference between monks and modern men is not sleep duration. It's the baseline level of agitation they live inside. Modern life trains agitation, and then you wonder why you need 8 hours and still feel wrecked. And this is where I'm going to drop the statistic, because it explains why so many men feel tired for no reason. Nearly 1/3 of adults worldwide, 31%, about 1.8 billion people, are not sufficiently physically active. Read that again, not a few, nearly 1 in 3. Your body was designed to earn rest through exertion. When you don't move, you don't create clean fatigue. You create anxious fatigue. The body has energy it can't spend, so it burns it as tension. That tension follows you into bed. Monks walk, they clean, they sit, they repeat. Their day has embodied rhythm. That rhythm makes sleep more efficient. Not because they found a hack, because they stopped fighting the organism. So if you want the monk advantage, you add one more rule. Daily physical output. Not intense, consistent. If you do nothing else, walk every day. And do it without your phone. The phone turns walking into more input. You want walking to become a downshift practice, a moving meditation, a return to the body. Now, common mistakes. Because this is where most men sabotage themselves. Mistake 1. Using polyphasic sleep as an excuse to stay addicted to stimulation. You can't scroll until 2 a.m. Sleep 4 hours, take a nap, and call it monk life. That's not monk life, that's gambling with your brain. Reviews of polyphasic sleep patterns raise health and safety concerns and highlight circadian misalignment issues. You're not special, you're biological. Mistake 2. Treating Yoga Nidra like a nap contest. If you fall asleep during NSDR, fine. But the goal is to train conscious downshift. If you always pass out, you're not training the switch. You're just catching up on sleep. Mistake 3. Making it complicated. The man who needs this most is the man who will over-optimize it. Special pillows, special light, special playlists. The monk technique is simple. Less input, more rhythm. One trained downshift session. Mistake 4. Ignoring mental health boundaries. If you have severe anxiety, panic disorder, trauma responses, or you feel worse when you lie still, you may need guidance from a qualified clinician or an experienced teacher. Stillness can sometimes surface when you've been out running. That is not failure. That is information. Now I'm going to give you the 7-day underground monk protocol. And if you do it, I want you to do it with humility. You're not proving toughness. You're cultivating recovery. Day 1 to day 7 every day. Rule 1. Choose a fixed wake time, not a fixed bedtime. A stable wake time anchors your rhythm. You can't build recovery on chaos. Rule 2. 1 NSDR session, 10 to 20 minutes. If you have time, do it in late afternoon. If not, do it pre-sleep. Lie down. Exhale longer. Scan the body. Practice neutrality. Rule 3. 1 hour before bed, remove the agitation. No arguments, no outrage, no novelty traps. If you want something, choose something slow. A book, a warm shower, simple stretching, quiet. Rule 4. Daily movement. At least 20 minutes walking. No phone. Breathe through your nose if possible. Let the body feel like a body again. Now here's how you'll know it's working. You'll notice that your tired becomes cleaner. You'll notice fewer spikes of late-night alertness. You'll notice that when stress hits, you recover faster. You'll notice that you don't need to be unconscious to feel restored. That's the monk technique. Not 4 hours, recovery skill. And now the action step, the one you do today. Tonight, set a timer for 12 minutes. Lie down. Hands by your sides. And for the entire 12 minutes, lie down. Hands by your sides. And for the entire 12 minutes, you only do 2 things. Longer exhale, then inhale. And a slow scan from the top of your head to your toes, noticing sensation without trying to fix it. When the mind wanders, you don't punish it. You label it gently, thinking, and you return to sensation. After the timer ends, sit up and write 1 sentence. Where did I feel tension first, and did it change even slightly? That's your baseline. Now tell me this, and be honest, because your answer will expose your real problem. When you try to sleep, what hijacks you first? Your phone, your thoughts, or your body tension?